Okay, welcome to Section R.4, and we are only covering Objective 3 in Section R.4. So, the objective is the order of operations, and more than likely you've seen this before. There's a way to remember it. It's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or also known as Pemdas. And this is talking about the order of operations when you see them in a problem. What does P stand for? P stands for parentheses. Any type of parentheses. So if you have parentheses or brackets or even like a square root, so something inside of a square root, we consider it just a container item, right? And then we have E. E stands for exponents. Okay, so exponents, square roots would fall into that category as well, or anything to some power. So example, if I had 2 to the third power, the 3 is called the exponent. And then we have M and D. So that's multiplication and division. These guys are actually on the same level of importance. So I'm going to go ahead and group them together. If we see one of them first, so let's say multiplication and division, whichever one comes first, reading from left to right. Once again, remember, we read from left to right in English. Math works the same way. So from left to right, if multiplication comes first, do that first. Or, from left to right, if division comes first, do that first. And addition, so A stands for addition, and subtraction, they also fall on that category of whichever one comes from left, or whichever one comes first, going from left to right. Alrighty, so here we have PEMDAS, which is order of operations, very good and important to have down. One of the sort of foundation stones. So let's take a look at example 1. Simplify 5 minus 3 times 4 plus 2. Before I start, I always want to identify the different operations I see going on. I've got subtraction. What else do I have? I got multiplication, and I have addition. So I have 3 operations going on. Let's take a look at our order of operations. Do we have any parentheses? The answer is no. No parentheses. How about, do we have any exponents? The answer is also no. Okay, so I'm not doing that. Next, in order of operations, we have M and D, multiplication and division. Do I have one of those? Aha, I do, right there, that multiplication. So I'm going to do that first. Which items are being multiplied? It's the 3 and the 4. So that'll be 15 minus 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2. Okay, so we've done that. We've done the multiplication. Now let's look at addition and subtraction. Do I have those? I do. I have 2. I have that subtraction and I have that addition. Which one do I do first? Well, addition and subtraction, remember, are on the same level of importance, so just from left to right. Which one comes first? Well, that subtraction comes first. So we'll do 15 minus 12. So if you have $15, you spend 12, you have 3 left. Bring down that plus 2. And then lastly, the only operation you have is a plus, which would give you a 5. Okay, once again, always identify what operations you have going on. So take a look at example 2. Pause the video if you can and highlight the operations that you see. Alright, so what operations do I see? I see a subtraction, or a negative you could call it, a square, a plus, a division, a minus, absolute values, and a minus on the inside. We have a ton of stuff going on. But let's take a look at PEMDAS. So, parentheses, PEMDAS. Do we have any parentheses? Well, I don't have parentheses, but I do have a container item, we call it, which is the absolute values. So we're going to go ahead and focus inside of the absolute values first. So let's write everything else down, but just focus on the absolute values. So the absolute value of 3 minus 7, well, 3 minus 7, let's say you had $3 in the bank and you spent $7, you're down $4. Absolute value 4. We still haven't gotten rid of the absolute value yet. So let's keep doing that. What does the absolute value mean? It means the number you have on the inside, you just want to know the distance from 0. So negative 4, how far away is it from 0? Just 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the absolute value, you could always think of it this way, the absolute value just takes the positive of the number on the inside. Whatever's on the inside, take the positive. So it'll be negative 5 squared plus 10 divided by 5 minus, and the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Okay, so we've done the parentheses. Now, any exponents? Yeah, we got an exponent. We have that 2. Okay. We have to be careful, though. Notice, what is the base of the item being squared? Is it -5 squared, or is it just 5 squared? The answer is, it is just 5 squared. We don't have those parentheses. So, what is 5 squared? Well, that's just supposed to be 5 times 5, which is, yeah, 25. Okay, so we're going to have the opposite of 25. Notice that negative comes down. It's important. This is often something students do have problem with, so keep an eye on that. Plus 10 divided by 5 minus 4. I just wrote everything else down. Alright, let's see. Okay, well, we did the exponents. What else do we need to do? Multiplication or division. Do I see any of those? I do. I see one. I have division. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the division. Which items are being divided? It's that 10 and the 5. So it's going to be -25 plus 10 divided by 5 is going to be 2. And then we bring down that -4. Okay, so we did the multiplication division aspect. Now we just need addition and subtraction. Do we have those? The answer is yes, we do. We have a subtraction, or a negative, a positive, and a negative as well. So you can kind of think of a negative and a subtraction as similar things. Now let's see. Well, reading from left to right, whichever one comes first, so that subtraction comes first. But since there's nothing in front of it, I'm going to treat it as a negative. So let's move on to the next symbol, which is the positive. We have a -25 and a +2. Think of it this way. Let's say in your bank, your account is down $25, right? You owe the bank 25 bucks. And you say, you know what, I'll pay some money in, I'll add $2 to my account. You're still in the red though, right? You're still in the negative, but you've given the bank back some of the money you owe them, so now you only owe them $23. Okay, because you gave them 2. So, there we go. We're down -23, and then we have that -4, which is still there, so bring that down. Alright, what do we have going on here? We have a -23 and a -4. So let's say, even though you paid back the bank $2, you went out and you bought, I don't know, like a spam musubi and a drink, right? So you spent more money. So now you're in the red even deeper. You owed the bank 23 bucks, and now you owe the bank $4 more. -27. Okay. Should be. Don't want to be in debt with the bank. Alright, so now it's -27. And there we go. That is our answer. Once again, please notice a few things going forward in this course. I'll point it out a few more times. So notice how my equal signs are there. Okay, the equal signs are there in a nice straight line as much as possible. And then another thing I do is I box my answer. So please make sure to do that in your own work. How I show work in my lecture videos is how I will be grading on your exams, so bear that in mind. And if you have any scratch work on the side, if you're going to leave it on an exam, go ahead, box it off on the side, just label it scratch work, or make sure just to leave it on the side. Do not include this kind of scratch work in your actual solving. Alright, example 3. Simplify. Ooh, and this looks intense. What do we got going on here? We have a lot of things. Let's see, let's identify our operations first. We got a positive, negative, negative multiplication. Let's go ahead and write down Pemdas. Do we see any parentheses? Ooh, the answer is we do. We have parentheses around the 9. So what number is that interacting with? Well, if I look at this, that is 2 divided by 3, and we have parentheses -9. What does that mean? If you have parentheses, it is another way of multiplication. So this is saying 2 over 3 times -9. Alright, how do I do that? I have a fraction, and I have something that is not a fraction. But I can make any number a fraction with a simple trick. Just put it over 1. So now, what do we have here? We have -2 over 3 times -9 over 1. Okay, so once we do this, we can go ahead and multiply across. So with multiplication, you can multiply straight across. You cannot do that with addition. Multiplying straight across, we get -18 divided by 3. -18 divided by 3 is going to be -6. Okay, so this is all scratch work of that little part right there. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. We have 6 plus that negative 6 minus 5 over 8 times the 16. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase my scratch work. Alright, so we did the parentheses. Awesome. What's next? Exponents. Do we have any exponents? No. Oh, and real quick, you might wonder about, well, what about those parentheses I just put around the negative 6? I just put that there because the symbol is a little different than that plus right ahead. Okay, so we can simplify that parenthesis because we have a positive and a negative, so that'll be negative. So that's 6 minus 5 over 8 times the 16. Okay, so we have no more parentheses, no more exponents. How about multiplication or division? Ooh, we have 1. That multiplication there. So you got to go ahead and deal with that. We have a fraction times something that's not a fraction, but don't worry, we know how to handle that. We'll put that 16 over 1. And we can go ahead and actually simplify instead of just multiplying straight across. So we can cancel items from the top and the bottom of a fraction. So 8 and 16, 8 can go into itself once, 8 can go into 16 twice. Okay, so then we have 6 over 6 minus, we're still working on these fractions right here, so that'll be the 5 over 1 times the 2 over 1. And now we can go ahead and multiply straight across, nothing else to simplify. And we get 6 minus 5 times 2, so 10. Okay, so now we have no more multiplication or division. Let's look at addition and subtraction. Well, we have 2 subtractions, so once again, we're just going to go ahead from left to right. 6 minus 6 is going to be 0, so 0 minus 10, and then 0 minus 10 is going to be the negative 10. And there we have our answer. If you need any help working with negative numbers, for example, like this step right here, please just send me an email and I can give you some resources from before, but just assuming that you do have some experience with negatives. Once again, if you don't and you need some supplemental help, always feel free to reach out. Okay. And the next problem. Let's see, is this the last one? Yeah, example 4. Ooh, last one for our point 4. This one is the Bombucha kind. Alright, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this just because it's so squashed right there. So we have the negative, we have a root 36 minus 4 times 3 squared all over 2 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 28. I often like to rewrite the problem just because when I rewrite it in my own handwriting, I often find it helps me view the problem better. Just something I like to do. Okay, let's go ahead and highlight all of the operations. So we have a root, a minus, a multiplication, a square, a division, a negative, a square, negative, multiplication, and addition. Got a lot of operations going on. But don't worry, just take a deep breath, write down your Pemdas, and then let's take a look at it. Ooh, that was Pemdas. Pemdas. Okay, parentheses. Do we have any parentheses? We don't really have parentheses, but we do have a radical, so let's go ahead and deal with that radical. Okay, so simplifying root 36, what is that saying? That is saying root 36 is asking you, what number times itself gives me 36? That answer is 6 times 6 gives you 36. So 6 will be our answer. That equals 6. Alright, so that's going to be 6 minus 4 times 3 squared all over negative 2 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 28. Okay, we did the parentheses. Next we have on the list is exponents. So E for exponents. Do you see any exponents? I see 2. That one right there on the 2, and then that 2 right there. As always, feel free to pause the video and try these problems by yourself and check in with me. Let's see, so treating that, we're going to do that squared, and be careful, we're not including that negative, it's not in the parentheses. So we'll do that. So focusing on those 2 items right there. What do we have? So I'm going to just write everything else down, because nothing else is being affected, just the items with their radicals. So 2 squared is going to be 4, and 3 squared, that is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, be careful, it's not 3 times 2. 3 squared is saying 3 times 3, which is 9. 2 squared is saying 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, so writing everything else down, writing down that negative 8 times 3 plus 28. Okay, so we did the exponents. That's done. Now it's left is multiplication and division. Let's see. Do we have any multiplication or division? Well, we have that multiplication and that multiplication, as well as this division. But in order to do that division of the fraction, we need to finish doing the top and the bottom first. So that division right there, this one will be towards the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the multiplication. So that's 4 times 9. Let me just actually highlight that. 4 times 9 and 8 times 3. So that'll be 6 minus, so 4 times 9, what is that going to be? 36 all over, and then copying everything else down except the items. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 28. Okay, so I've run out of room on my page. What do I do? Well, we're going to go ahead and, sorry I'm erasing Pemdas. We'll use an arrow to let our readers, which is you or me if I'm grading your test, I'm going to go ahead and use an arrow and continue my work up on the top. So nice little arrow lets your reader know where you've gone. I'm just going to rewrite my work. You don't need to rewrite it every time, but since I want to keep my work neat, I'll do that. And make sure your fractions extend the whole way. So now, what did we have left in PEMDAS? We had multiplication, division, we already kind of did that. Now we have addition and subtraction. Well, what kind of addition and subtraction? We got subtraction, boop, boop, and boop. Let's do the top first. Let's focus on the top. 6 minus 36. How can we think of that? You have $6, and you put it in your bank account, which is negative $36. Well, you're still going to owe the bank, right? Because you owe them $36, and you only gave the bank $6. But you owe them less. You owe them $30. So negative 30 divided by, and let's take a look at the top. We have that negative 4 minus 24. Once again, thinking of it in terms of money, you owe the bank $4, and then you spend $24 more, right? So you owe the bank $4, you go out and spend $24 more dollars, now you owe the bank negative $28. And then you have, plus 28. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next step. So we have negative 30 on the top, divided by negative 28 plus 28. We can't do anything on the top, but we can do something on the bottom. Negative 28 minus 28. What does that mean? You owed the bank $28, and then you gave back the bank $28. You broke even, right? You don't owe the bank any more money, but you don't have anything in the bank, but at least you don't owe it any money. So that is 0. So now we're left with negative 30 divided by 0. Aha, this is one of those fancy cases. We have 0 occurring in a fraction. There are two outcomes when 0 is in a fraction. We have a number over 0, or we have 0 over a number. So if we have a number over 0, that is no. No can do. No can do, which means our answer would be undefined. And you can go ahead and shorthand undefined with a capital UND. If we have 0 over a number, that spells ON, so on. So you go on to 0 being your answer. Okay, so those are the two options. Which one do we have here? Well, we have a number over 0, which spells out no. No can do, so our answer is going to be undefined. Alrighty, so keep that in mind, the two options with 0 and a fraction. Alrighty, that is it for this section. Please email me if you have any questions.